The British National Radio Sound Preservation and Archival Society are proud to present a remastered instalment of the classic 1950s classic serial, The Newer and Further Adventures of Upright, the story of a late Victorian gentleman, based on the novel by Gravelly Stokes and adapted to a standard sufficient to avoid copyright infringement by Valemere Lake. Episode 9. Unknown Identity is Exposed. Before I tell of my adventures after the collapse of my house, I must relate to you events that happened to the other characters who feature so nearly to me in this, the story of my life. Upright, my dearest friend, gone forever, you are sure?
Yes, Mr. Whippet.
How sad. Had I a brother, I should have loved him like it. Although I suspect that had I a brother, I should not have liked him much. And Thomas, dear, kind, innocent, almost childlike, stupid Thomas, could be annoying at times, but I mourn his sad passing. Did you see him fall?
I didn't, but the house fell on him, so it's pretty permanent, sir.
Poor house, poor Thomas, poor Sally, and her little boy. Imagine that child's impoverished future. Yes, imagine Upright's child, and weep.
Oh, he's not impoverished, sir, not with all the gold.
Gold? They found gold after all?
Yes, Mrs. Whippet, sir, underneath the house where it fell.
What are we thinking, Arthur?
I know what I'm thinking.
We must pay our respects properly to dear Sally.
Yes, that is what we are thinking, and we should do it right now. I shall give an eulogy. A face gazed down at me. It seems familiar. Can it be? Have I fallen right through the world, back to Australia from whence I just left, and I look now upon the face of my own dear mother?
Not exactly. I'm Percy Brush, the chimney swipe.
The man my mother married and went off to Australia with?
Married, yes, that's it. Come on, Betty, he's awake.
Oh, if it isn't my little Thomas. Oh, how long's it been? 5, 4, 3 years and 7 months. Oh, listen to him cant. Bless his little chops. Do you remember learning to cant on your little 10 fingers and little 12 toes? I do. And your little decimal point. That fell off. It was a verruca. Ain't it always the way?
Anyhow, welcome to Australia. Come down out of that hole and I'll explain everything.
There are many things I can say about my good friend Thomas Upright, but they would not be appropriate at a time of grief. We should try to remember good things. So, let me sum up my feelings in song. As soon as I heard the awful news, I could not believe my ears. Upright was such a dear friend of mine. I've known him for 2 whole years. Upright no more is a downright shame. We shall never see his like again. I shall miss him through and through. Tell me honestly, won't you? Don't send flowers, for he won't want that. Put a little money in his hat, so we may put up a plaque on what roof is left when the house fell flat. Oh. Now that he's gone with time to recollect, an upright man standing up erect. Whatever facts we may inspect, upright is impossible to resurrect.
Wake up, Arthur. You must have nodded off over the eulogy.
Strangely, it was true. I had fallen down the shaft in my London garden, and out of the shaft, being dug the opposite way from Australia, by my mother and her chimney-sweep husband, Mr. Brush.
Brush by name and Brush by nature.
Oh, he's ever so good with his brush.
Australia's never had such clean pots, and I've never been happier.
I may neither.
It's the land of opportunity.
Which is not to say,
now and again,
as our body don't get homesick.
And you with all that gold.
Shh! Gold?
What gold?
You said gold.
I might have said gold, but I didn't mean gold.
No,
Then what did you mean?
What did I mean?
mould.
Yes, covered in it you are. Let's get you inside and talk about the gold. Mould!
Oh, it's a deep hole.
Very deep, Mrs. Jiggles.
Dangerous.
Yes, Mrs. Jiggles.
No one could survive falling down that.
No.
Makes me giddy to look at it.
Yes, Mrs. Jiggles.
Should I jump in?
No.
You're probably right. Come on, let's get the dinner on. It's been a tiring day.
But there's no kitchen because there's no house.
What do we do? Oh, there's no kitchen and no house, madam.
I know. Mr. and Mrs. Whippet have invited us to stay with them, but I cannot leave. I cannot but hope my Thomas will pop his head out of that hole as good as new.
Well, we'll be off then. I've a nice bag of potato eyes still in my apron pocket.
My mother and Mr. Brush tended for me well, and suggested when I am rested we lower ourselves on a long rope back to England.
Australia's nice,
Lovely.
but there's no place like home. And what with the mould, we'll be set for life.
Is mould valuable?
Yellow mould is, yes. You leave it all to your dear old ma.
From their conversation I gathered it would be an easy matter to travel back down the hole, curiously still going down even though I fell out, taking a lot of valuable mould with me. They planned to live the high life in London. It occurred to me, therefore, that like at sea, a message in a bottle dropped down the hole might reach my dear Sally. I hoped it did not hit her on the head.
Sally, there you are. Please come in and have some potato eyes. Please.
There's plenty for everyone.
I have news.
Oh, don't tell me. There is no gold.
Oh, there's plenty of gold. This is good news.
That is good news.
Thomas is alive and well.
Oh, for goodness sake. How?
This bottle, which hit me on the head, has a note inside that explains all.
My dear Sally, I have fallen down a deep hole to Australia and met my mother and Mr. Brush, who used to sweep our chimneys.
I remember Mr. Brush. He always left a sooty chimney.
We are planning to lower ourselves back to Great Britain with some valuable yellow mould, and will live for high life. He means gold.
It says mould.
Oh, well, he's an nincompoop. Love him like a brother, though I do. He is an idiot.
Well, that is of least importance. What matters is my Thomas is safe and coming home. I need to speak with you, Arthur.
Yes, you do.
Isn't it wonderful news, Mrs. Jiggles?
Oh, I'm all of a jiggle.
And not too much now. That's what got us in this mess.
Oh, no, I'm never, ever going to jiggle like that again, because...
We've been thinking,
Yes,
rather than wait for Upright to come to us,
yes,
it might be an idea to go to him.
yes. He ought to be among friends. But how?
Well, we can jump down the hole, madam. I'd love to jump down that hole. Tell her, Mary, didn't I want to jump down that hole?
Yes, Mrs. Jiggles. I suppose we could. Love Thomas as I do,
We all love Thomas as we do.
it is possible he may make a mistake of some kind.
The lovable oaf.
Perhaps, if we really could, then let's do it right now, before his mother and the chimney man take all the gold for themselves.
While my mother and Mr. Brush the chimney sweep knot string together to make a really long rope, I decide to take a stroll around Australia and see if I like it. As I stepped out of the door, a familiar voice greeted me.
Upright! You found it first?
Mr. Thud, the famous explorer. I thought you dead.
You know what Thought did?
No,
How did you get here before me?
I came up a hole.
Clever. Well, it'll do you no good. This whole place is legally mine, and the treasure within.
I do not understand.
I own Seagull Island.
This is not Seagull Island. It is Australia.
Exactly. It was staring us in the face the whole time. Do not see. Australia is an anagram of Seagull Island.
Why, so it is.
And according to the map, this is where the treasure is.
Sure enough, he was right. Mr. Thud's greater experience as an explorer in taking things from people they belong to was able to advise us that the mould is in fact gold.
Oh, you don't say. Who'd have thought it?
And it's mine.
This is our house.
A small matter of rent arrears for the past 8 years mean it is now mine. I have bought police.
Well, it'll do you no good. Most of the gold is on the other side of the hole in Great Britain, and that is my house.
Actually, it is mine. Do you not remember when you left it was to be repossessed, and it is only after a long adventure, which you may read of in my diary, that I was able to buy the house back?
Aha! Then we can do a deal, young upright. You go down this up hole and bring the gold back up the down hole here, where it'll be mine, and I'll let you have some.
I couldn't let you do that, Mr. Thud.
It's nothing.
Tom, son, who should benefit from the money most? You and this man who's nothing to do with us? Or your loving family, those closest to you, who love you and have your best interests at heart?
You are right. My family. My loving wife Sally and the child who is imminent, if not more so.
Eh? What wife? What Kitty?
I must go home to them at once, and if there is mouldy gold too, then it is for them, not I.
Then I'm coming too. Give me that rope.
No!
Get off!
Yes! No!
Yes!
A struggle ensued, and the rope broke.
You broke the rope. You dope. What do we do now?
Oh, no, Bill. Your extendable brushes.
With the use of extendable chimney sweep brushes, Mr. Brush created a thin pole up-down which we could slide. But at that moment there was a commotion. Oh! Sally, you are in Australia upside down.
Thomas, is it you?
Yes.
At last.
Sally.
She's the scullery maid.
Not any more, I'm not. I am Thomas's wife, and this is our son.
Get away.
We need to name him. I thought maybe Thomas, after you.
Oh no, after you. Ladies first.
We can't call it Sally.
Then let us call it something else altogether. That will be less confusing.
How about William, after my father?
Is your father ever likely to visit us?
No, you remember he is dead. Both my parents died in the icing sugar accident of 1878.
Ah, yes, I remember now. So he is not likely to visit, for that would be confusing too. We shall call him William. Upright, you're alive. Thank heavens, what good news. Let's celebrate by looking at your gold.
Thomas, dear, you look as you always do.
A baby is nothing special. We shall have a baby too now, thanks to Chapter 8 of Dr. Handy's handy book on making a happy wife happy. Are you a happy wife?
Yes, dear.
Suffice to say, I'm off cod.
Arthur, where are your manners? Ask him about his gold.
My gold? I'm not going to be denied at the 11th hour.
Mr. Thud, how did you survive?
Never mind that, sir. A good explorer always survives. Now out of my way. The gold is all at your end, you fools.
With that, Mr. Thud grabbed hold of the chimney brush pole and slid down at incredible speed. At that moment, from the other direction, something huge passed him. Mrs. Jiggles!
Oh, that was too much. Oh, it's a-coming over me. I knew it would. Oh, I'm going to jiggle. Oh, I'm going to jiggle.
She is going to. Get back, everyone.
Arthur, the gold. She's going to bring down the roof of a tunnel. It's too late. Step away, Lucy. She's going to blow.
I'm all jiggled out. I knew this would happen again once I'm on a roll.
The shaft was sealed forever by a mountain of rock which had come through from the other side. A mountain of gold. Well done, old friend. I've always thought of you as a brother. Now we shall sign legal documents to make it so in law. Lucy has them already prepared.
Just in case, you never know.
Sign here
And here.
No more signing anything. I have my beloved wife Sally and young William, my son. I do not care about gold.
Oh, Thomas, yet we must eat.
That's right, son. You go back home by boat, and me and Mr. Brush will look after all this gold.
Our gold. He is my brother.
Oh, no, he ain't, sonny.
Just sign here, Thomas. No, he will not.
There is no need to sign anything, and there is no need to fret over the gold, Mother.
What a good boy. Didn't I always say he's a good boy, despite all his deficiencies? No, you never did, but I'm sure if he'd ever crossed your mind, you would have done. Oh, I would. He's like a son to me. That is to say, somebody living in London.
I am going back to London, and I'm taking the gold with me. Well done, Thomas. That is the right thing to do. Quickly, Lucy, let us take passage to London immediately, so we will be there to greet him and make sure he does not squander the gold upon himself and his family.
Don't be hasty, boy. No, stay here, lad, especially as we're going to be getting all independent soon.
If Thomas wants us to go home, then we shall.
Home? What's home? 4 letters, that's all. But what's in here is my heart. 5 letters, Tom. You can't break it. Stay here with your gold. Become an Australian. You and your gold.
I am a Victorian gentleman, and always shall be.
We've got to persuade him. Look here, son. Let me tell you about Australia. In Australia, let me tell ya, the sun is always on ya, and you can be if you wanna be anyone you wish. I'm not sure yet, what if I get reason later to regret it, so I better stay an Englishman, thus my answer's no.
It could be most exciting, and it is so inviting, and don't forget you're adventurous, so why do you make a fuss? Come, Tom, join us, you won't look back. Australia is the place for us.
I'm not sure yet, I'm not certain. It's a very big step to take, so for the moment my head's hurting me, thus my answer's no.
In Australia, let us tell ya, the sun is always on ya, and you can be anything you want.
You may be right, my dear, but do recall, there's no place like home, you know, but please consider carefully, but whatever you may choose to do, we shall always be there with you.
But I am a modern Victorian gentleman.
He's not sure yet, it's a safe bet. He'll never answer yes or no.
I'm a staunch Victorian. Should I stay or go?
Here I am, Mrs. Jiggles.
Mary, where have you been? Do you realise how worried we would have been if we'd noticed you were missing?
I heard a news vendor shouting, and I thought I'd better go and buy a paper. Look.
An Australian newspaper? Oh, it's all upside down.
Turn it round, Mrs. Jiggles.
Oh, it's like magic.
What does it say, Mrs. Jiggles?
Man arrested for spreading false anagrams.
No, not the bottom of page 48 in the small print, Mrs. Jiggles. The headline on page 1.
Queen Victoria dies. Oh,
good heavens.
There's more. King Edward, now king.
Then I am no longer a Victorian gentleman. I shall be an Edwardian gentleman. We must return home. Unfortunately, inquiry found that the cost and revenue duty on transporting the gold back to England would exactly equal its value, so we decided to stay. Sally is happy in the fine house we can afford, and my mother and Mr. Brush have a lucrative cleaning business cleaning brushes. Mrs. Jiggles has her own catering company, making upside-down cakes, which are now the right way up.
People can't get enough of them.
I got a long letter from Whippet asking when we were coming back to England. I wrote a long letter back telling him we are not. He wrote a short letter saying he is ill and that the doctor tells him he should relocate to a warm climate, and did I know anyone who might send him some money. I wrote back to say that I did not. He wrote back to me to suggest that I had not thought of myself. This was true. I immediately wrote back enclosing a cheque. Sally assures me that she has posted this, but as yet Whippet has not arrived.
Well, he is sick, dear. Maybe he didn't pull through. Never mind.
Young Will, my son, is enjoying himself. He is 5 now.
3.
Please do not read over my shoulder.
Sorry, dear. 3.
3 now. He likes to help Mrs. Jiggles in the kitchen.
Now hold that, Master Will, and see if it's hot. Oh, lovely. Now, let's count the carrots. You can give one to your new pony. Do you remember the carrot counting song?
Yes, Mrs. Jiggles. It's fair dinkum.
1, 2, 1, 3, 6, 9.
Counting out the carrots, 2 for everyone, 6 for people visiting, and 7 if there's none. Everybody loves a carrot in their stew. Next to the potatoes and meat you have to chew. Carrots, carrots, you cannot have enough. 1, 5, 7, 9, don't wash off the fluff. That's the best bit.
It certainly is.
Oh!
The purchase of a pony reunited us with an old friend. A pony, sir? I have ponies? I thought you were Seahorse now, Mr. Rosy-Nose. I am, sir. See, I swim. But I am also running a thriving equine business. That is good news. Do you see my little tail and my seahorse mane? Yes. As I close my diary with my final words, these are they. I have been a Victorian gentleman and an Edwardian gentleman, now an Australian gentleman. But one thing I shall always be is an upright gentleman. You have been listening to Unknown Identities Exposed, being the final episode of Upright, the newer and further adventures of a late Victorian gentleman, adapted by Valmere Lake from a novel by Gravelly Stone.